Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second day of the 5 C's of teaching with Wakelet in Microsoft Teams, a virtual collaboration between MOE Malaysia, Microsoft Malaysia, and Wakelet. So for our second day, you are going to hear from Michael, all the way from London, who will be giving the intro to this webinar. And you will be hearing from our speaker, Cikgu Nadia Zulkifli, our MIEE from Malaysia, who will be sharing with you the power of curation with Wakelet. So by joining this webinar, you are agreeing to the experience, your name, your email address, or maybe your phone number may be viewable by other participants. If you do not want to, be included in this recording, please do drop the call, and the recordings will be uploaded in Ruang Ilmu Delima after we complete all the 5-day sessions. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions or if you want to give some comments to our speakers, please do use the the Q&A. And this session is being recorded. And as I've mentioned, it will be uploaded in Ruang Ilmu Delima for MOE teachers. And I'm sure we will be sharing the YouTube link soon on social media. And there will be 2 forms for you to fill out. The first one would be the attendance form, which my dear friend Tejas will be sharing in the Q&A section. And also for MOE teachers would be your SPL KPM form. So make sure you fill in both forms, for MOE teachers. And there will be a selfie challenge for you to participate. So make sure you stay until the end because that will be announced later. And of course, you're not able to unmute your mic because you're an attendee. For those of you who joined our session yesterday, we were actually using Teams meeting, but today we're shifting to a live event. So this is the agenda for the whole week. We've had our event launch yesterday and with Cikgu Yu, and today it's going to be with Cikgu Nat. So I'm going to skip that for a while, and I'm going to pass it over to Michael.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Feroz, and thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. I hope you're all enjoying the 5 C's of teaching so far. I know that it's day 2, and I know that yesterday was a really exciting occasion. So to be here with you today really is a massive pleasure. So just to give a quick introduction for myself, my name is Michael. I'm on the Wakelet growth team here in the UK. My role is head of social media, so I'm involved in every Wakelet social media channel. So if it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I'm operating a lot of the campaigns that go on across our social media. So I'm sure I've come into contact with a lot of people that are here today. Those of you who have engaged with some of the campaigns that we've had on social media, I'm sure we have connected. So it's always really wonderful to see the Malaysian education community engage on social media. So to be able to connect with you in person today is a really exciting opportunity for me. So today I am going to be speaking about the power of curation with Wakelet. Of course, many of you know Wakelet or have used Wakelet, perhaps are a little bit familiar with the platform. Today, I just want to talk about curation and how Wakelet can unlock the power of curation within your school community. So whether that's with your educators in the school, with your colleagues, with your peers, or with your students as well, Wakelet can really do a lot in unlocking curation and giving everyone an opportunity to create something special, create something meaningful, whether it's as an individual or whether it's as a team, as a collective. Wakelet gives a lot of opportunities to unlock curation in your school community. So the question you might be asking is, how can Wakelet help curation, or how can you curate with Wakelet? So for those of you who are familiar with the platform, of course, Wakelet allows you to create collections of visual, engaging materials, a number of different types of content. So whether if it's an image, text, you can add documents, video, YouTube links, social media posts, pretty much anything from around the internet. you're able to gather and curate it all into a Wakelet collection. So you're able to gather multiple materials, whatever it may be, and curate it into a really visual, engaging, and accessible Wakelet collection. And then from there, you're able to share it with your learning community, share it with your school community, and showcase the curation experience or showcase your materials and what you've created. So there's a number of different ways that you can make the most of this functionality on Wakelet, a number of different use cases that perhaps you're familiar with. So I just want to go through a few different ideas and a few different concepts that we've seen from the education community. So to start off, I'd really like to just speak about portfolios. So you are able to create a portfolio for yourself if you are working on your professional development. For example, this week, of course, you will be receiving multiple certificates and multiple badges or whatever it may be. You're able to curate all of that content into a Wakelet collection to showcase your development and showcase your progress, and then display it as a portfolio as well. So once you gather all of the things you want to include, if it is the certification, and add a little bit of text into the collection as well, you are then able, that can be your portfolio, and then you can share it with your wider community to showcase your development. And it's the same with students as well. Students can also create portfolios on Wakelet. I think something that we're really excited about at Wakelet, something that we really enjoy seeing, is student portfolios and how students can curate their learning, curate their growth inside a Wakelet collection. So that's a really great tip. If you want to bring Wakelet into your classroom, you can invite your students to create them on portfolios. So if it is, of course, with their learning materials, with the examinations that they are doing or assignments, they can curate it all and then add supplementary content to showcase the progress that they have made, and then they can make it look really visual, really engaging, and share it on their profile as well. So a great tip for curation is to use Wakelet for portfolios. Moving on then, I think a really awesome use case for Wakelet are newsletters. So you are able to curate a newsletter, you're able to curate multiple features or multiple events and highlights from your school or from your classroom, and curate it all into a Wakelet collection and then structure it as a newsletter. So to start off with that, you could give the newsletter a title just to indicate what the content is going to be about, and then add videos. If it's a Flipgrid video, perhaps you can add the Flipgrid video, give a bit of an introduction yourself, to give a personal message, a personal note onto what the newsletter is going to be about, and then add supplementary images, key events that are upcoming, key dates that are upcoming. You're able to put it all into a Wakelet collection and then share that with your wider community. So a newsletter is another really fantastic way of curating something really powerful with Wakelet. So another great tip would be a lesson plan. I think we've all seen some really powerful lesson plans being curated on Wakelet. It's a fantastic way of creating a structured visual lesson plan within a collection that can then be shared with students or shared with colleagues, and just kind of give a really great structure to your lesson. And if you were to start off again, maybe with a Flipgrid video, and just give an introduction to the lesson, give a bit of background, give a bit of context as to what the lesson is going to be about, give points, give tips, give advice to your students. And then with that Flipgrid video, you can add multiple pieces of content onto that as well. So if it is a structure, you can use a template that we've created, or create your own template as well for your students to access and navigate. And then go on from there to share a really beautiful and stunning lesson plan all within a Wakelet collection. So that's just a couple of different ideas of how you can begin your curation process on Wakelet. Something that I would definitely recommend you do is if you were to start playing around with Wakelet yourself. Once you set up an account and create a collection, it's really easy to start adding items and start adding different pieces of content, whatever it may be. You're able to add different links, different documentation, We always compare a Wakelet collection to, let's say, a Microsoft or a document of links. If you were to send an email of links to your learning community, it's really difficult to access them. It's really difficult for your community to navigate the links or the content. So the Wakelet alternative is basically to share those links and share that content in a really engaging visual way that's really easy to navigate. So the process of curation allows you to share something special and create something that's really visual and meaningful, whether it's those use cases that I discussed, or if it's something else, it could be a book list, a reading list to share with your students. If you want to use it outside of education, you can create a collection of recipes that you want to share with your community. And that's exactly what I would recommend you do to get started, is to just create a collection, add a bunch of different items. If it's something that you're passionate about, if it's a hobby that you have, create a collection on that to really showcase the power of curation. And then of course with that, you're then able to share it with your wider community. So there's multiple different ideas, multiple different ways. Again, just get started yourself, play around with it a little bit, and you can unlock a lot of different really powerful ideas for using Wakelet from a curation point of view, and get everyone involved as well. Get your students, get your class involved. Everybody can jump onto Wakelet to start curating something really, really powerful. So that's a quick breakdown, top level overview of how you can use Wakelet to unlock curation in your community. I'm really excited to pass it over to Nad, and then she can perhaps discuss in a little bit more detail a few ideas or her take on how you can unlock curation with Wakelet. And I will rejoin again in a little while and go through a few cool opportunities and also discuss the winners of the competition that were announced yesterday. Or that was launched yesterday. So stay tuned, and I shall see you again in maybe 30 minutes or so. But for the time being, I'll pass it over to Nad.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, Nad.
Can hear you, Nadia.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Michael from Wakelet. A very good evening to all, especially Virus from Microsoft Malaysia, and we got Tejas in the background, and also all the teachers over the Malaysia. Okay, since that may I speak in Malay?
Of course.
Alright. Okay, Assalamualaikum dan selamat petang untuk semua cikgu-cikgu di Malaysia. Okay, saya cakap bahasa Melayu lah supaya semua boleh faham. Okay, saya adalah Cikgu Nurul Nadia, merupakan salah seorang Wakelet Ambassador. Okay, saya share screen sekejap. Okey, seperti yang cikgu semua dah dengar daripada Michael sebentar tadi, dalam Wakelet ni sebenarnya macam-macam boleh kita masukkan. Cumanya dia bergantung pada macam mana kita menyusun maklumat-maklumat tersebut supaya murid ataupun audiens boleh dapat faham apa yang kita nak sampaikan. Okey. Okey, yang pastinya Wakelet ni adalah platform yang percuma sahaja. Jadi cikgu-cikgu tak payah bayar, dan sebenarnya apabila cikgu menggunakan ID D5, Wakelet merupakan salah satu aplikasi yang boleh digunakan menggunakan ID D5. Sangat seronok, dan cikgu-cikgu boleh simpan, cikgu-cikgu boleh susun, dan cikgu-cikgu boleh present maklumat-maklumat ataupun share konten tersebut kepada semua orang. Okey, sedikit tentang saya merupakan guru pendidikan khas integrasi pembelajaran daripada SK Rengit Batu Pahat Johor. Merupakan juga Flipgrid Ambassador Global Minecraft Mentor dan seterusnya. Boleh sedikit je lah pasal saya. Okey, seperti biasa macam yang saya ulangkan sebelum tadi, Wakelet ni adalah percuma. Minta maaf sangat sebab 2 minggu ni saya tidak berapa sihat, jadi batuk tu masih ada. Okey, dan juga dia unlimited. Unlimited tu maksudnya cikgu boleh buat seberapa-berapa banyak pun koleksi cikgu. Sebab kalau sebelum ni cikgu dah terangkan macam mana kita nak buat koleksi, nak buat account. Jadi saya akan meneruskan sesi ni, sesi cikgu Yu semalam dengan kita akan tengok apa yang kita boleh masukkan ke dalam Wakelet. Okey. Okey, yang pastinya Wakelet juga sangat selamat kerana Wakelet sangat menjaga etika kanak-kanak, akta kanak-kanak, di mana kanak-kanak bawah 13 tahun sebenarnya tak boleh buat akaun. Jadinya Wakelet dia tidak dia memberikan satu alternatif lain di mana kita boleh berkolaborasi bersama dengan murid tanpa murid ada akaun. Okey. Okay, ini adalah contoh macam mana kita minta murid membuat assignment ataupun kita minta murid membuat tugasan sebelum ni. Bagi macam ni, suruh cari maklumat, nyatakan maklumat tersebut. Okey, dan sekarang apabila kita menggunakan Wakelet, kita akan murid akan dapat scroll down, cari makna, gambar mana yang sesuai. Di situ sebenarnya susunan yang boleh kita sampaikan kepada murid-murid ataupun murid-murid sendiri yang present maklumat yang dia cari. Okey, untuk pengetahuan semua juga, Wakelet boleh di-download ataupun dimuat turun di dalam telefon bimbit masing-masing. Kita boleh download daripada App Store dan juga Play Store. Okey, saya tambah sikit maklumat. Okey, sebab sebelum ni kalau webinar yang sebelum ni ramai yang tanya macam mana kita nak buat tulisan Jawi dalam Wakelet. Okey, sebenarnya boleh. Sebab saya dah cuba dengan Ustazah Nurul Hairiah dekat sekolah saya, kita boleh type dengan menggunakan tulisan Jawi. Macam mana cikgu boleh installkan bahasa yang dekat language kita dalam setting tu menggunakan tulisan Jawi ataupun installkan Arab, then kita boleh gunakan untuk membuat tulisan Jawi pada tajuk, pada tulisannya di dalam Wakelet. Sangat seronok. Okey, Wakelet pun ada browser extension di mana cikgu boleh download. Sekiranya cikgu menggunakan Mozilla ataupun cikgu menggunakan Chrome ataupun cikgu menggunakan Edge. Browser ni sangat mudah sebab apabila kita buka satu laman web, dia boleh terus simpan sebenarnya bila kita tekan dekat logo Wakelet. Okey. Dan ini saya bagi contoh merupakan pelbagai aktiviti yang kita boleh buat dengan menggunakan Wakelet. Daripada prasekolah sehingga prasekolah, sekolah rendah, sekolah menengah, universiti, PLC bersama staff dan juga personal ataupun personal use ataupun kita punya nak buat untuk peribadi kita. Okey. Okey, hari ini saya akan terangkan mengenai ini, di mana kita boleh mengintegrasikan aplikasi-aplikasi yang lain ke dalam Wakelet dan Wakelet ke dalam yang lain. Okey, inilah contoh. Macam saya cakap tadi, Wakelet ni ada dalam delima. Di mana kalau cikgu buka portal delima, dan cikgu pergi menu guru, aplikasi dan cikgu akan pergi pada Wakelet. Nombor 8 ni. Okey, kejap lagi kita akan buat sesi hands on ataupun kita buat sama-sama lah. Okey, jom kita cuba. Okey, ni sebab saya line saya agak slow. Jadinya saya buka siap-siap laman web yang saya inginkan, iaitu kita akan pergi kepada laman web delima dulu. Okey, dalam laman web delima, cikgu-cikgu boleh log masuk menggunakan ID cikgu-cikgu dan masukkan juga password. Sorry. Okey, then kita akan pergi kepada menu utama. Okey, dalam menu utama ni, cikgu hanya boleh pilih murid ataupun guru. Sekiranya cikgu adalah guru, klik pada guru. Tapi sekiranya kalau cikgu menggunakan ID sekolah ataupun ID JPN ataupun PPD, tapi kalau ID JPN ataupun PPD dia boleh klik pada guru. Okey, untuk ID murid, kalau misalnya kata ada penonton yang sekarang ni merupakan seorang murid ataupun pelajar, boleh klik pada ID murid. Okey. Okey, saya teruskan. Okey, menu guru sebenarnya adalah di macam ni. Dia ada nombor 1 hingga 9. Okey, 1 hingga 9. Jadi di manakah sebenarnya Wakelet? Okey, Wakelet berada di nombor 3 iaitu activity. Sorry. Okey, salah. Wakelet sebenarnya berada di nombor 4 iaitu aplikasi. Okey, inilah Wakelet. Nampak? Dah ada di sini. Jadi tak perlu susah-susah mencari sebenarnya. Kalau kita salah pun macam saya tadi salah. Jadi kita back balik dan kita teruskan. Okey. Selain itu juga cikgu-cikgu sebenarnya boleh log in ke dalam cikgu-cikgu punya Microsoft Teams di mana kejap, terlaju pula. Okey, pada menu guru ada pembelajaran digital, buku teks digital, ni activity. Di activity ni kita ada Google Meet, Microsoft Teams dan sebagainya. Kalau sekiranya cikgu nak mencuba menggunakan Microsoft Teams, cikgu boleh klik pada Microsoft Teams ni. Okey, ni contoh Microsoft Teams saya. Saya login kan siap-siap sebabnya saya takut tiba-tiba line putus kan. Okey. Jadinya macam saya tadi pun ada masalah tau sebenarnya sebabnya saya ada 2 browser. Okey, browser ni. Okey, yang pertama ni saya memang dah letakkan akaun personal. Jadi saya tak boleh nak tukar. Kalau sekiranya cikgu menggunakan Edge, biasa menggunakan Edge, tak apa. Cikgu browse dia as a guest. As guest ni. Jadi bila browse as guest, jadinya lebih mudah. Dan cikgu boleh je log masuk. Sorry. Okey, ini adalah contoh Microsoft Teams yang ada di dalam yang boleh menggunakan ID delima. Sekiranya cikgu tak pernah lagi menggunakan mana-mana ataupun masuk dalam Teams mana-mana, cikgu boleh try create a team. Nanti kita akan belajar untuk seterusnya. Tapi sekarang ni kita fokus pada Wakelet dulu. Okey? Okey, so saya tadi saya tutup dulu Teams saya. Saya buka dulu satu Teams. Sebab nanti kita nak masukkan Wakelet tu dalam Teams. Okey, kita pergi tadi pada menu guru, aplikasi, dan kita pergi pada Wakelet. Ini adalah laman pertama dalam Wakelet. Pernah jumpa kan? Okey, sebab sebenarnya cikgu dah terangkan. So saya tak adalah terangkan semuanya. Okey, saya terus je login. Okey. Sebab kita dah buka akaun delima, so dia macam automatik tau. Ada kita punya email. Tengok. Kalau sekiranya cikgu tak ada extension browser ni, cikgu boleh je download ni. Dia ada bagi suggestion. Lambat sikit lah. Okey. Okey, tak boleh sebab kita dalam guest mode. Kalau betul-betul kita boleh sebenarnya. Okey, tak apa. Seterusnya. Okey, di sini. Semalam Cikgu dah terangkan macam mana kita nak tukar profil, nak edit profil. So saya teruskan je pada koleksi di mana kita boleh masukkan pelbagai elemen atau aplikasi dalam koleksi tersebut dan sebenarnya kita boleh susun. Okey, contoh ni saya buat tadi tapi saya tak edit. Okey. Saya edit balik. Okey, ni contoh saya nak buat adalah tempat menarik di Malaysia. Tajuk untuk sains saya, pendidikan sains sosial dan sekitar tahun 6. Cikgu pun boleh cuba buat tajuk lain ataupun cikgu nak buat pasal resepi ke, tak kisah. Sebab saya nak gunakan tajuk ni untuk sesi untuk hari esok dengan murid. So saya buat je lah terus ni. Okey. Sorry. Okey, next. Di sini. Cikgu boleh masukkan laman web ataupun alamat laman web ataupun cikgu juga boleh masukkan note, gambar, bookmark, PDF. PDF ni 50 MB sahaja. Okey, dan seterusnya OneDrive, link OneDrive, Google Drive, YouTube, video, tweets, banyak lagi sebenarnya. Kalau macam tweets ni, kalau macam aktiviti yang peribadi pun boleh juga macam Michael cakap tadi kan, kita boleh masukkan koleksi kita punya sijil, kita punya badge ataupun kita punya post-post tentang Wakelet dalam tweets, boleh pun, boleh je. Kalau dalam tak ada Twitter pun, dalam Facebook pun boleh. Sorry. Okay, so saya ambil teks dulu. Okay. Okay, yang latest punya update dah lama jugalah. Kita boleh kita boleh letakkan, kita boleh juga besarkan supaya lebih mudah. Contoh untuk murid pendidikan khas, saya memang besarkan. Okey. Jadi yang kedua, okey, kita nak pergi pada laman web. Jadi cikgu boleh je gunakan laman web mana-mana. Okey. Sorry. Okay. Okay, kalau nak masukkan gambar pun boleh, masukkan link gambar, nanti gambar tu keluar. Link video pun boleh, banyak sebenarnya. Okay. Untuk family lah, untuk keluarga, ada tak? Ni boleh 7 tempat menarik di Malaysia ataupun untuk family day, tapi saya nak buat untuk di Malaysia je lah. Jadi kalau nak buat di Johor ke, di mana-mana pun boleh. Yes. Ni. Okey, kalau misalnya kata cikgu memang ada akaun dekat Edge ataupun Chrome, Cikgu dah install apa tu namanya browser extension Wakelet. Cikgu klik je pada butang tersebut dan link ni terus boleh pilih masuk ke dalam yang mana satu, ke dalam koleksi yang mana satu. Okey. Tapi since saya tak boleh nak install, so saya copy je. Klik copy. Okey, so saya pergi je kepada tadi dan kita masukkan. Paste. Ctrl V, Ctrl C pun boleh juga gunakan. Okey, jadi dia keluar macam ni. Change layout ni pun boleh membantu murid-murid. Contohlah murid-murid banyak kita punya tempat menarik kan. Kita boleh letak macam ni. Nanti banyak tempat-tempat menarik lagi. Kita boleh tambah. Okey. So next saya nak tambah adalah video daripada YouTube. Okey. So saya tak perlu buka tab lain. Bila kalau macam YouTube ni cari je dalam ni. Dia terus keluar je. Jadi lebih mudah kan. Okey, saya nak okey. Ni dululah. Ni dia dah bergerak. Tak kisah. Bila macam ni dia boleh tambah. Murid pun sebenarnya boleh tambah apabila saya allow-kan saya untuk dia bagi kolaborasi dengan mereka. Ni saya buat private. So saya tukar kepada unlisted. Nanti saya share kepada mereka dan mereka pun akan cari maklumat ataupun tempat menarik di Malaysia. Okey, kalau dalam OneDrive pun boleh juga. Ni kalau OneDrive ni selalunya kalau cikgu ada simpan maklumat ataupun dalam Google Drive ataupun OneDrive boleh simpan maklumat juga. Jadi macam buat kat rumah kan, nak buat kat sekolah juga. Jadi tempat lain-lain tapi dalam cloud yang sama. Jadi kita boleh je go to OneDrive. Cikgu boleh add je file. Okay, tapi saya tak buat sebab saya rasa macam line saya agak slow. Kadang lambat pula. Minta maaf sangat sebab batuk ni memang tak hilang. Okay, so seterusnya adalah Flipgrid. Okay, Flipgrid ni sebenarnya adalah satu aplikasi yang kita boleh record video. Selain itu juga kita boleh record screen menggunakan Flipgrid. Kejap. Dah ke mana? Okey, continue as Nadia. Nampak. Jadi saya tak perlu 2-3 kali. Okey, sekiranya cikgu tak ada account Flipgrid, cikgu boleh sign in guna account Flipgrid. Guna ID Delima juga. Macam saya ni gambar kartun ni ada gambar untuk ID Delima. Jadi saya memang dah ada account Flipgrid tapi dia macam nak buat sign kan dia. So, saya tekan je continue as Nadia. Sekiranya tak pernah ada, nanti dia akan suruh login tau. Jadi cikgu login je, cikgu pilih masukkan email Delima, masukkan password. Macam saya memang dah ada. Okey, tengok. Dia kata please allow ataupun block. Make sure allow Kalau tak nanti cikgu cakap apa yang dirakam tu tak dengar. Dan kadang-kadang kamera cikgu pun tak nampak. Jadi cikgu klik allow. Okey, saya dah klik allow. Kenapa tak boleh? Okey, kejap. Sebabnya mungkin saya guna gas ni. Kalau sini saya tak guna gas. Okey, kejap Mungkin sebab dia confused sebab saya buka dua tab yang berbeza, dua page yang berbeza accountnya. Jadi mungkin dia agak keliru kat situ. Kejap. Okey. Okey. Apa yang keluar ni? Okey, semula daripada aplikasi. Okey, Wakelet. Tadi saya tekan done. Kita dah tersave yang tadi punya. So yang kat sini kita klik edit. Okey, kita nak masukkan video yang kita rakam sendiri. Okey. Melalui Flipgrid. Lama dia tak bagi pula kita mencuba. Boleh senang. Okey, saya off sekejap saya punya kamera di Okey. Kita test tengok boleh tak? Boleh pun. Sebabnya saya on kamera di paparan di Teams, jadi bila Flipgrid ni tak boleh nak read kamera saya. Okey, so kalau tengok ini adalah paparan Flipgrid yang cikgu kalau nak record video ataupun cikgu nak upload video pun boleh. Cikgu boleh upload video di sini. Upload clip. Okey, saiz yang boleh di-upload adalah 500 MB dan juga kalau untuk pengetahuan cikgu, kita boleh buat video selama 10 minit. Tengok ni, dekat atas ni 10 minit. Boleh berhenti. Minta maaf. Boleh berhenti sekejap, boleh sambung dan sehingga 10 minit lah. Dan kita boleh juga letak efek, contohnya macam tempat menarik mestilah gambar yang cantik ataupun kita boleh letak macam pokok kelapa, gambar orang senyum, suka. Nanti dia keluar. Lambat sikit Saya minta maaf, saya sangat line saya agak slow sikit. Jadinya pelbagai sebenarnya. Okey, filter pun filter adalah update terbaru daripada Flipgrid. Ada macam-macam filter dia bagi. Tengok, alamak. Kita tak sini sikit. Ada macam-macam filter ni, cikgu boleh try. Tengok. Kita ada memori, kita ada vintage, ala-ala vintage. Sangat seronok sebenarnya. Kita juga ada dramatik. Okey, pelbagai jenis lagi sebenarnya. Okey, saya ambil dramatik lah. Okey. Next, kita juga ada boleh tambah teks. Kita nak tambah teks apa, boleh type. Kalau dah buat ni tiba-tiba macam mana ni, macam mana ni nak buat? Cikgu boleh je klik balik pada teks tu. Kita pun teruskan. Boleh tukar, boleh edit, macam-macam lagi lah. Okey. Okey, teks dah. Okey. Okey, next kita ada ink. Ink ni cikgu boleh tulis. Minta maaf sangat. Ink ni cikgu boleh tulis. Tulis apa-apa je lah. Pasal tu nak tulis nota pun boleh. Board ni pun boleh. Okey, kita tengok. Kita nak beri board. Ni lah. Kalau ni selalunya saya buat penerangan dengan murid. Okey. Jadi kat sini sebenarnya dalam Flipgrid kita boleh split screen. Okey, saya kecilkan dulu stiker ni. Okey. Nampak tak? Board ni boleh menutup keseluruhan muka saya ataupun board ni boleh menutup sedikit sahaja. Jadi kalau dengan anak-anak murid saya, selalu saya akan buat separuh lah. Jadi kat sini saya akan tulis, okey, nombor 1 apa dia? Okey, saya nak contohlah Adif, kalau macam penerangan lah, buat tentang tempat menarik di Johor. Kawan dia yang lain buat tempat menarik di Melaka, buat tempat menarik di Perak, macam-macam sebenarnya. Jadi kalau matematik pun saya guna graf. Macam ni. Tapi graf ni dia kecil, saiz besar. Jadinya kalau untuk budak pendidikan khas, saya biasa guna ni untuk buat bentuk lazim. Menggunakan ni. Okey, selain itu juga ada okey, dot pun ada. Okey, whiteboard yang kosong pun ada, blackboard pun ada, chalkboard pun ada dan macam-macam lagi. Lajunya. Okey, dia slow. Jadinya dia lambat loadingnya. Sorry. Tapi senang cerita, saya suka yang ni. Okey. Jadi kat sini bila dah ada board, kita bolehlah guna ink. Kita guna ink. Nak guna warna apa? Terpulang. Okey, contohlah saya buat nombor 1. Apa dia? Tapi ni saya tak record lagi tau. Kalau tak record lagi, cikgu undo je. Ataupun cikgu nak buat siap-siap nombor 1, 2. Boleh je. 3, 4, 5. Dan cikgu record. Nanti dia akan keluarlah paparan ataupun video cikgu menulis tu. Okey. Okey, seterusnya ada stiker, dah pernah buat. Okey, foto. Cikgu boleh tambah. Contohnya cikgu ada simpan gambar. Ni kita kena okey, yang ini kita kena cari di dalam kita punya laptop ataupun dalam kita punya PC komputer. Okey, kita tengok kod-kod lah kalau ada gambar bendera Malaysia. Kita boleh masukkan. Ada. Sekejap Okey, ada. Kita ada gambar bendera Malaysia. Saya nak letak kat mana ni? Sinilah, tengah-tengah. Okey. Jadi saya pun tekanlah. Okey, tadi dah effect. Okey. Okey, kita start recording kita. Okey, Assalamualaikum. Okey, untuk tugasan hari ini, cikgu nak anak-anak ataupun adik dan semua, kita akan buat tempat menarik di Malaysia. Jadinya, kita akan buat pilihan lah. Awak akan cari maklumat dan masukkan ke dalam Wakelet yang cikgu sediakan. Boleh? Okey. Jadi nombor 1 kita akan tengok adalah tempat menarik di Johor. Johor adalah negeri yang kita duduk sekarang. Betul tak? Okey. Jadinya, siapa yang nak buat? Siapa yang nak buat Johor, awak akan ada pilihan lah. Awak nak buat tentang Johor, ataupun awak nak buat tentang Melaka, ataupun awak nak buat tentang Selangor. Jadi nanti saya akan tulis kat sini dan awak boleh buat pilihan. Okey, terima kasih. Jadi dia akan stop sini. Kalau cikgu nak tulis dulu pun boleh, cikgu nak sambung cakap pun boleh. Dia bergantung pada cikgu nak buat macam mana. Okey? Okey, seterusnya. Okey, masa mencemburui. Okey, kita boleh juga option. Boleh juga mic only. Nak cakap je, cakap. Ataupun kita nak terbalikkan mirror video. Mirror video tak boleh kena. Okey, mirror video. Nak tukar sini. Salah, terbalik. Okey, tukar sini. Pun boleh. Nak mute pun boleh. Dan juga nak record screen pun boleh. Dalam Flipgrid kita boleh record screen kita. Tapi dia 9 minit lah daripada 10 minit. 1 minit tadi saya dah cakap kan. Okey. Jadi cikgu kalau tak nak cari dalam YouTube ataupun nak guna yang penerangan tentang cikgu yang buat, cikgu boleh je record video dalam sini. Saya pernah dapat soalan, macam mana saya dah rakam video, saya nak tengok balik video. Boleh. Cikgu tengok je balik video dekat dalam short di dalam Flipgrid account cikgu. Dia ada terus tersimpan di sana. Ataupun cikgu boleh je buka balik Wakelet ni dan tengok semula. Okey? Kalau cikgu dah puas hati, kalau tak puas hati, edit balik, back balik, undo balik, clear balik. Tapi saya rasa okey kot. Cuma saya nak tambah sikit. Tak apalah, nombor 2 ni okey kot. Okey. Next. Okey, Assalamualaikum. Okey, untuk tugasan hari ini, cikgu nak anak-anak ataupun adik dan semua, kita akan buat tempat menarik di Malaysia. Jadinya, kita akan buat pilihan lah. Awak akan cari. Okey, kat sini sebenarnya cikgu boleh edit. Nak potong yang mana, nak cut yang mana. Okey, Assalamualaikum. Kat banyak kali saya gini. Okey, cikgu boleh edit. Nak potong sini ke, nak potong yang bahagian sini nak. Ni macam nombor 2 tadi saya tak nak lah. Saya cut sikit. Boleh. Tak apalah pada cikgu. Nak delete clip ni pun boleh. Tapi sebab saya dah macam tak nak lah. Kerja kot. Saya pun tekan confirm. Nanti boleh dengar semula apa yang cikgu cakap sampai habis. Okey? Okey, klik. Dah puas hati ni, boleh klik next. Kalau tak puas hati, boleh je tambah lagi video. Terpulang pada cikgu. Untuk cover foto ni boleh tengok ambil selfie ataupun nak masukkan upload foto, select frame pun boleh. Intinya kalau macam saya nak buat yang mana. Terpulang pada cikgu lah. Boleh je buat mana-mana. Sini ke nak buat pasal yang dah siap tajuk tu ke boleh. Okay. Saya confirmkan sebab kita nak lajukan sikit. Description. Okay, penerangan. Pesan. Okay, harus diingati apabila cikgu klik confirm, cikgu dah tak boleh edit balik video tu. Jadi kalau rasa macam tak puas hati dengan video tu, retake balik ataupun edit balik video tersebut sebelum confirm. Okay. Ni kalau saya confirmkan je lah kan. So, saya bagi maklumat je dulu. Okay, tengok dia dah terus masuk. Okay, tak apa, dia preparekan kejap, bagi dia prepare dulu. Kalau nak refresh pun boleh. Bagi dia prepare je lah. Okay, klik done. Okay, nanti klik done. Okay, saya rasa itu sahaja. Banyak lagi sebenarnya, tapi saya bagi 3 dulu yang mudah untuk mencari artikel di internet, mencari artikel di YouTube dan juga kita buat video tentang Flipgrid. Sebenarnya dalam boleh juga import OneDrive ataupun kita boleh juga masukkan OneDrive yang kita buat presentation ataupun kita punya PowerPoint, kita punya Word, kita punya OneNote, semua tu boleh masuk sebenarnya. Apabila kita share link dan kita copy link dan masukkan paste any web address ni. Jadi lebih mudah. Bila kita dah share tu, kita boleh share untuk edit ataupun share untuk view. Yang itu nanti untuk bahagian kolaborasi saya rasa mereka akan terangkan. Dan macam-macam lagi sebenarnya. Okay.
Hi Nat.
Okay, hi Kak.
Thank you so much for the wonderful sharing. I think a lot of people are enjoying your session, and you know the time is envying us. We're almost coming to the end, okay. But there are a few questions, but just a quick check with Michael. Would you like to take the questions first, or would you like to summarize first before taking questions? Hey Michael, are you there? Michael, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute, Michael.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Bit of a delay there. I'm happy to take some questions now, if there's anybody who has any questions.
All right, so there are some questions in the chat area, but I can read it for you. The first one, how fast or quick can Wakelet work when students are using it? And can students download it as some offline material?
Well, in terms of the speed, Wakelet should work very quickly. If there are multiple students using it at one time, everybody should be able to use Wakelet and access its full functionality at a relatively high speed. It depends, of course, what the connection is in the environment, but for the most part, it should work flawlessly. And the second part of the question, very sorry, was what was that again?
Can it be used offline?
So with Wakelet, you're able to access materials offline. In terms of curating and sharing and collaborating with Wakelet, you will need to have an internet connection for that, but you are able to explore collections, access materials offline, especially if it's with the Wakelet mobile app. You're able to use that and explore collections that you've created or accessed without any internet connection.
All right, thank you. And this is a question, can we embed Wakelet collection in Word?
That's a great question. In fact, I think perhaps Tejas would like to contribute to this as well, but recently we announced our integration with Microsoft Word Online. You are able to simply by copying and pasting your collection's URL, once it's in either on unlisted or if it's set as unlisted or public, just paste it into your Microsoft Word Online document, and then it will appear as a collection on your document for you to explore and access like that. So it's a really exciting integration, definitely something that you should check out. So the answer is yes. We're delighted to say that you are able to embed your collections into your Word documents.
All right, good to know. And another one is, what's the criteria, interesting criteria in Wakelet that can be used to support teaching, learning, and maybe remote learning? Maybe you can just summarize some.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of different ideas shared from the education community around the world this last year. Of course, educators have had to be really innovative during times of remote learning. I think just in terms of some of the use cases and the ideas, I think sharing learning materials with students as they learn remotely is one of the most powerful things that I've seen. There have been so many, but of course, for allowing your students to access learning materials, assignments, lesson plans, as I mentioned earlier, is a really powerful way of just staying connected and ensuring that your students can access key learning materials, as they learn remotely. Beyond that, I think because Wiglett has such a powerful collaboration functionality, even though everybody in the class may be apart and learning from home, with Wiglett, people are able to work together, contribute different materials, connect with one another, even though they're learning from home. So I think in terms of the most powerful criteria, I would summarize it into three things. Firstly, you're able to curate collections and showcase your learning. Secondly, you're able to share it. So if it's sharing it with your teacher for a student that's learning from home, or sharing it with your classmates, it's a really powerful way of just staying connected. And then lastly, just to touch on collaboration again, Wakelet's a really powerful way of unlocking teamwork, whether you're working inside the classroom or if learning is taking place at home. So I think to break it down into those three things would be the main criteria.
All right. So I think Dr. Harvey will be sharing more about how to use Wakelet for collaboration, right, in the next session. And the final question, I think, from the attendee is if they're using the personal account for the Wakelet, can they share the collection to another account, maybe an Office 365 account, different email? Is that possible?
If there's multiple Wakelet accounts, so if it's a different, right? Yes, so the first thing that comes to my mind here is that with Wakelet on your collection, you're able to enable copy, which basically means that once you enable copy, people are able to copy the collection to their profile. So if you do have more than one Wakelet account, you are able to copy the collection to your profile or to your home area, and then from there you're able to edit it and also add other pieces of content to kind of claim the collection as your own. I think that's probably the best way of doing that.
All right, great. Thanks so much, Michael. So is there anything that you would like to share with the attendees for today before we end our session?
Of course. Yeah, first of all, I think something that I'd be really excited to talk about is Wakelet's integration within Microsoft Teams. So of course we're using Teams right now, and I'm sure many of the educators and people on the call today use Microsoft Teams in a lot of what they do. So many of you may not know, but Wakelet has a really powerful integration within Microsoft Teams. So you're able to, once you curate your collection on Wakelet, it's actually really easy to share the collection within your Microsoft Teams channel. So you're able to add it as a tab on your Teams channel, and then perhaps refer to it if it is a list of resources or if it's a newsletter, just as a reference point. Once you have it in your Teams channel, you're able to reference it when you're having your conversation, and then have it as a tab to access it really, really easily. So it's really powerful for sharing resources with your students. If you communicate with your students on Teams, it's really powerful to reference materials right there within your channel. So that's really powerful. And of course, with your colleagues as well. If you are kind of working alongside your colleagues and you want to reference materials and just drop links into a collection really, really easily, you're able to do all of that within Teams, so you don't actually have to navigate away from your channel. So that's something that's really, really powerful. So I highly recommend you check that out. It's simply a case of adding the Wakelet button to your channel, and then it will appear as a tab right there. Another thing I'd like to speak about, and another integration that we have within Microsoft Teams, is that you're able to showcase and explore your Wakelet collection while you're on a Teams meeting. So if you are having a call with your colleagues, or even if you're having a call with your students, you're able to bring up a Wakelet collection so it appears at the side of the screen. And then from there you can present the content, you can have a discussion on the content. So it's a really powerful way of just showcasing materials and resources with your learning community in real time, live. Of course, when you're on a Teams call, you're able to access all of this. So that's something that's really, really powerful. So I highly recommend you check that out. Just add the Wakelet button to your Teams channel. So that's like my pro tip for the day. So I highly recommend you check that out. Just to close up on a couple of different points from my side, I'd like to first of all announce the winners of the contest that we launched yesterday. There is a contest throughout the entire week, so this isn't necessarily the end of the contest, and I'll kind of give a bit of information as to how you can enter the contest for tomorrow. But without further ado, I'd like to just announce the 3 winners that we have had from yesterday's session. So I have just found these on social media, and I hope the winners are here today so that they can claim their prizes. So first of all is SMK Jenka 2. I hope that's the best way of referencing you. I've seen you on Twitter, in fact, and I've seen that you've been sharing your highlights or your moments from yesterday's session. So please feel free to reach out to us if you DM us on Twitter, DM Wakelet on Twitter. We'll make sure that will send you out a prize. Secondly, and I hope I pronounced this right, is Redzwan Juso. Also another entry from yesterday's contest. I've seen you on social media sharing your highlight from yesterday's session. So I hope you can hear this. If you are in the audience today, feel free to reach out to us as well, and we'll send you your prize. And then lastly, another winner is Cheryl. The name on Twitter was simply Cheryl. I saw that you were sharing your highlight as well, so thank you so much to you for getting involved. Feel free to reach out to us on social media, and again, we'll send you your prize as soon as possible. And then now to move on to how to enter the contest. As I said, every day we'll be announcing 3 more winners. We'll be giving away some really cool prizes. So it's really simple. Simply, it's called the selfie challenge. So if you take a selfie as you attend this session, if you want to take a selfie right now, please feel free. And just to showcase that you are attending, put it on social media, maybe make a brief comment about what you've enjoyed about today's session, or what you're enjoying about the week generally. Make sure to tag Wakelet and Microsoft Education in your post, and also include hashtag MIE expert and Wakelet Wave, hashtag Wakelet Wave. Include that in your post, share it on social media, and ahead of tomorrow's session, we'll make sure to choose 3 more winners and announce the winners on tomorrow's session. So I highly recommend it. Perhaps now is the best time if you want to take a quick photograph of you attending the session and share it on social media. It really makes us excited at Wakelet to see people generate a bit of a buzz on social media and just to showcase that the Wakelet Wave and Microsoft EDU tools are so powerful within the Malaysian education community. So yeah, feel free to get involved in that, and we'll keep an eye out and we'll choose some winners. So there's just a couple of things a couple of tips that I'd really like to share with you. First of all is
is Michael still there?
I think we've just lost him slightly. Let me just check with him if he's able to jump back on quick. Just
Sure.
give me 2.
So while you do that, and thank you so much, teachers, for all your questions. If your questions have not been addressed or answered during the live session, please do join the Facebook page of Wakelet, the official page of Wakelet, or there's another one, Wakelet Malaysia. And you can share your questions there, and I'm sure a lot of people will be able to help you with your questions. And just to let everybody know, all the recordings will be uploaded in Ruang Ilmu Delima for MOE teachers, and for non-MOE teachers, we'll be sharing the YouTube links. But after all of the event, the 5-day event has been completed, inshallah, next week. So back to you, Michael.
Hey, sorry about that.
Back. Cool.
Sorry, yeah, it just dropped connection there for a moment. So yeah, I trust that you were just referencing how to access certification. I believe that's where I dropped off. I think we can have a link, of course, this will work as well. So yeah, to claim your certificate, that's the best way to do it. And feel free to share that on social media as well. It's always really cool to see that. Okay, one moment. And yeah, just another pro tip that I'd like to share, and on the topic of curation, I think a really great way to round it off is once you do create these Wakelet collections and you do add whatever content and materials to your collection, my personal pro tip would be to try out a number of different layouts. There's some really cool ways that you can, spice up the Wakelet collection so that it appears in different ways. Of course, the default layout is media view, which means just simply scrolling down, but we also have a grid view, which means you can compare multiple pieces of content to the other ones all in one simple view. Compact view, if you're sharing a lot of materials and a lot of content, it can be displayed in a really compact format, which is really good. And then lastly, a really exciting one is our mood board layout, which means it's essentially like a collage kind of view. You can access and look at different materials, a lot of different materials in one look. And also it's really easy to reorder, and it's a really creative way of showcasing your content. So if you are showcasing highlights, or if you want to create a collage of photographs or whatever it may be, I highly recommend you try out mood boards. So in a curation point of view, it's something that's really powerful. So that is my pro tip. And just to finish off, just a couple of recommendations would be to get involved in our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group for Malaysia specifically, so that's a really powerful forum to get involved in. I recommend, Tejas, I think if you could share the link in the chat, that would be really great. If you want to, in order to stay up to date with everything that's going on, we'll share content that's specifically relevant to educators and Wakelet users in Malaysia. So I highly recommend you check that out. We'll be having an ongoing conversation. And of course, you can converse with one another. It's a really great way to network with other educators in Malaysia. So I highly recommend you check that out. And another thing is something that we are really excited about at Wakelet is the Wakelet Schools program. So the Wakelet Schools program is a really fantastic way of unlocking the power of Wakelet for your entire school. It's a structured setup, it's a structured program that really focuses on bringing curation, organization and collaboration to your entire school community in a really well-guided structured process. So I highly recommend you apply for that. Tejas, if you could share a link there. I don't want to bombard you with too many links here, but it's a really fantastic opportunity for your entire school community, and we'll work closely with you to empower both educators and students. So if you are looking for a way to get multiple educators and students in your school to start using Wakelet, the Wakelet Schools program is definitely the most powerful way of doing that. Definitely worth applying for that. And it is a global program, so there's plenty of different opportunities for connecting with other people around the world. And then lastly is just generally, if you want to follow Wakelet on social media, we're very active on Twitter and Facebook. Stay up to date with all the news. Will be key announcements, new opportunities, really exciting community week will be coming up soon as well. So there's some fantastic opportunities there. But otherwise, yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week from me. Just a closing note. I know Dr. Michael Harvey is going to be discussing collaboration tomorrow, but yeah, I've had a really great time joining you today, and I hope you were able to get something from the session and learn something new. Always feel free to reach out to us at Wakelet. But yeah, just to close off, Farouz, I'll hand it over to you. But yeah, final note from me is, yeah, thanks so much for joining, and it's been a pleasure to connect with everybody today.
Thank you, Michael, and also thank you, Cikgu Nat, for the wonderful sharing. And once again, I'm going to switch to Bahasa Perawak. Untuk cikgu-cikgu, jangan lupa join Facebook page Wakelet, ada Wakelet Official dan ada juga Wakelet Malaysia. Dan sekiranya nak tengok recording nanti akan dimuat naik ke dalam ruang ilmu Delima dan juga akan dikongsikan di dalam laman Facebook Wakelet Malaysia. Dan untuk siapa yang tak sempat nak dapatkan borang kehadiran tadi, ada 2 borang kehadiran, right? Satu, semua orang kena isi borang yang sedang dipaparkan di screen sekarang, right? Attendance form for everyone to fill in, bit.ly/3EZPE4Z. And you can also scan the QR code. And another one, lagi satu yang belah kanan adalah borang untuk sijil SPL KPM untuk guru-guru MOE. So minta tolong semua sebelum you leave the call or leave the live event. I'll leave it displayed on the screen for a couple of minutes before we end the session. So Nat, are you still there with us? Would you like to say anything before we end the live event, and also Tejas, perhaps?
Yeah, I just want to close on saying, a big thanks to everyone who's joined today. Obviously, it's so nice to be able to organize this event and obviously have all of you over here. It was so great to see Nad talk you all through Wakelet. She's one of our ambassadors, and also Michael take you through all of the amazing ways in which you can use curation in the classroom. Yeah, so just really looking forward to seeing what all of you have to say about the session. Don't forget the selfie challenge, and yeah, let us know what you think of the session today, and maybe if you were in yesterday, what you thought of that yesterday. And yeah, we've got 3 more sessions coming at you, so stay seated, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Any words from Nat?
Okay, thank you for all the participants and Wakelet, and also selamat menggunakan Wakelet dalam PGPC ataupun dalam kehidupan seharian anda. Terima kasih.
Okay, terima kasih semua. Thank you everybody. Alhamdulillah, 500 over attendees for today. So I'm going to leave the screen for a while and go off mute, and within a minute I will be ending the webinar session. Thank you very much. Thank you so much everybody, and see you tomorrow.